following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Brother Mike is back on the radio. America, Arizona. Time for HardcoreChristianity.com. Hey, thank you for tuning into the program today. Today's Bible study, Muslim immigration. America is next. Hey, will you call somebody and tell them the radio program's on while I make a couple of quick announcements? Thank you for helping the ministry. This is Brother Mike. I am the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center in Central Phoenix. We're on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. It's the red brick building on the west side, in the heart of Maricopa County, Arizona. HardcoreChristianity.com is the website. And by the way, I've noticed some people using the phrase Hardcore Christianity on selling T-shirts and different things. Hey, that's a trademarked name. I have a trademark on that name, so you're not legally allowed to use it. Thank you very much. You can use Hardcore Christian, but just not Hardcore Christianity. On Thursday and Friday nights, we have live services, healing, deliverance, teaching, and preaching, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Both of those services are live on our YouTube teaching channel, youtube.com/houseofhealingaz. When you go to the website, you can sign up for one of our free seminars. We have several of them. You can order the Miracle List, a step-by-step guide to being delivered. It's free. Send me an email, mike@hardcorechristianity.com. Don't forget to send in another donation on the PayPal button. Thank you for your support over the last 19 years. Please remember we have expanded our children's deliverance services. We now have 6 of them per year. You can catch that on the website. And thank you for your houses that you've sent to Sister Karen for her to list for sale. We appreciate that act of kindness on your part. Muslim immigration. It is now hitting us. All right, let me explain something to you. Satan is running the planet. 2 Corinthians chapter 4. He's called the God of this world. The Greek word for world there is age. Satan is the God of this age. He is running the planet, and as you can see, he is destroying it. And he is getting it ready for Armageddon and the evisceration of the nation of Israel. This is his plot. This is his plan. He is not going to stop. He uses many techniques to take over the world and control the world. One of them is Muslim immigration. What the devil did was he turned the Middle East into a war zone. The people that were collateral damage in all of these wars, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, it goes on and on. Libya, Satan has developed war, and that's his favorite thing because it allows him to collect the most souls in the shortest period of time through the gates of hell and into the fires of hell. That's his favorite thing, is war. Satan turned the Middle East into a giant powder keg, and so the people, the collateral damage, the regular citizens who don't want war, immigrate to other countries. And when they immigrate there, principally to Europe, they do not assimilate. Muslims do not assimilate when they immigrate. They don't do it. They don't like the customs of the country they come into. They don't like the laws the countries have that they enter, and so they try to set up isolated areas, kind of similar to what they do here in America, where you've got Chinatown, you've got certain areas in New York, for example, that are populated by Polish people. They congregate in certain areas. Well, Muslims do that constantly. They do that all the time. For example, here in America, Dearborn, Michigan has been completely taken over by Muslims. From the mayor on down, almost all of them are Muslims. The whole city looks like a city now from the Middle East. If you've ever traveled through Dearborn, Michigan, your mouth would drop open. It looks like you're in a foreign country. And the problem with immigration from Muslims is that many of them are proponents of Sharia law. Sharia law is the brand or the version of Islam that ISIS, the Taliban, all of it, they subscribe to it. This is what they subscribe to. Let me read to you a list of symptomatology that comes from Islam and Sharia law. Plane hijackings, genocides, honor killings, murdering Jews, self-mutilation worship. That's Sharia. That's Shia Islam's. Animal torture, murdering Christians, forcing women to wear outfits where nothing is showing, almost like a beekeeper outfit or something you wear at NASA. Female circumcision, genital mutilation, kidnappings, castration of pedophiles, raping women, public beheadings, women barred from education, women barred from driving, arson of churches, child brides. You can marry a child who is 8 years of age or older. You cannot consummate the marriage until a few years later. Executing gay people. Under Sharia law, if you are a homosexual, they throw you off buildings or cut your head off. Under Sharia law, you are allowed to lie to non-Muslims. You spread it, it spreads like a cancer. And you can see every country that has Sharia law is a country that is soaked in war. In Europe, for example, mass immigration occurred with Muslims because of the wars in the Middle East. People flocked to the 28 countries of the European Union. Some of the countries did not let them in, and they were the smart ones. The countries that let them in principle, Germany was number one. France was number two. They took in most of the immigrants. They are now regretting it. For example, Spain, Greece, Poland, Italy, and Hungary, based on a recent Pew Research study, have a negative view of Muslims. Over 50% of their society, 50 to 72% of their people in those countries have a negative view of Muslims. Why? Well, I just told you, they do not assimilate. They participate in crime in the new countries they move into. The Netherlands, Sweden, France, Germany, and the UK, 28 to 35% of their citizens have a negative view of Muslims. Can you imagine that? Why? What I just listed. Many of these Muslims do not assimilate, and they are followers of Sharia law. They do not believe in the laws of your country. They don't believe in the religions of your country. They do not assimilate into your culture. They have their own culture. That's what's happening now in Afghanistan. The disaster of Afghanistan is being used by Satan. Okay? He put Joe Biden into office. This is one of his goals. This is one of his goals. He wanted immigration to the United States. Well, there's a problem there. What would that be? Well, there's an ocean between us and the Middle East, thank God. Is that a problem? Not for Satan. Joe Biden just brought over 120 or 30,000 refugees from the Middle East. The vast majority of them are regular citizens in Afghanistan. They are not translators. They did not help us during the war. only like 5,000 of them were Americans, if you can believe that. They left Americans behind. They left our supporters who helped us for the 20-year insane Afghan war. They left them behind, and they immigrated the Muslims here. What's going to happen? These Muslims that are coming over here are going to hate the United States because we abandoned them in Afghanistan. They had to leave their families to get out, and the Americans who said they would support them did not support them. So what you're doing now is bringing over 150,000 Afghan refugees who will become like the congresswoman from Minnesota, Ilhan Omar. She was a refugee. She came here. She hates America. They are going to come here. They're already here. They're temporarily living in army bases. They are going to spread throughout the United States. Biden is going to send them to red states in an attempt to flip elections. But these Afghan refugees are also going to join terrorist groups here in America because they hate America. They are just like all the other refugees that come over here who were betrayed by the United States, and they had to leave their other relatives behind. They left under horrible circumstances, having to be evacuated under an emergency basis. And now they're here in America, and they are going to hate our guts. They are going to join terror cells here in the United States. They're going to be shipped to red states. That's where they're sending them right now. They're sending them out to Republican states because Biden wants to try and use Afghanistan refugees to flip elections. What's going to happen? We are going to be facing the nightmare of Sharia law. Most of the aspects of Sharia law would be considered a felony in the United States. For example, child brides. For example, honor killings. For example, genital mutilation. These things are felonies. Folks, America is in trouble. The devil is moving, and he's using immigration to come for us. See you next time.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.